Hey guys, it's Nolen and Jason here for Plumbing Webmasters.
Howdy.
I've got a really interesting one today. The title of this is going to be, They Told Me to Spend $12,000 a Month on My Plumber PPC / SEM.
That's a long time.
I wanted to get that other keyword in there, Jason. Why are you messing with it? You know that YouTube requires this crap in the title, or else it won't show up.
You're
for
experts,
shit.
damn it.
I had to get Plumber PPC, and as some people call it SEM, or search engine marketing, which is code for I paid for that shit to show up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the problem here is, listen, this was a very good guy, cool guy, calls up, and the call was instigated by the fact that his digital marketing agency, air quote, jackass in a basement, charging him.
We're salty today.
Charging him $4,400 a month for backlinking and shitty SEO.
Are you kidding me?
Shitty SEO.
In 2022.
Well, yeah, shit. He had a 15 domain authority, roughly, I think. I didn't look it up. J-Man looked it up. Yeah, so it was going on the domain authority. But here's the essence of the problem in this, and I just spoke to him again. But he's reeling in pain and confusion and frustration and and the ass pounding that he's been getting and all this shit. And this guy's a cool guy.
Yeah.
But this is not I'm not making fun. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
It's just, but this is a shitty situation for him.
He's just getting taken advantage of.
Absolutely getting taken advantage of. He doesn't understand how bad he's getting taken advantage of, but he knows he is, which again is what instigated the phone call.
Right.
So, but what I want to lay out what is happening here, because he had this website, about 120-page website, 150-page website. So there's too many pages on it. I mean, we know why, but we'll talk about it in a second. The guy failed at SEO and then talked to this potential new client of ours and basically said, well, I need to charge you $4,400 so we can go get some backlinks. So this guy doesn't even know what he's doing. But this is 95% of people out there.
Yeah.
And it's not our new client's fault that he picked him. We're not blaming the victim here on it. This isn't
We're blaming the asshole on
We're blaming the asshole that's screwing him rotten that he doesn't understand. But our client and all of these guys don't realize that we're not victim blaming or shaming or any of that. They're just getting screwed around because the industry as a whole is just guys that hung a shingle and says, I'm a digital marketing agency.
Right. I do SEO.
I do SEO. It's like, yeah,
I watched some YouTube videos from Lazy Stoner SEO.
Yeah.
That's a real guy, by the way. Used to be.
He
He hasn't posted in ages.
Is it still up?
His stuff is still up.
Yeah.
But
I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Lazy Stoner
Lazy
SEO.
Stoner SEO.
Anyway, have you looked him up recently?
I think I looked. I was curious about a year ago, and he hadn't posted in.
He's going to get calls now from the 100 people that watch this. Hey, what the hell? Put the bong down. We got a client. Yeah.
We haven't gotten a call in 10 years.
But that's funny because the point is that there's literally, it used to back in the day, people would only shoot in links out of India. So this guy's doing such old school shit.
Yeah.
That back in the day, some dude named Lazy Stoner SEO could literally smoke pot and get high and send links in out of India and make your SEO work.
And succeed. That's the sick part, is it worked.
He was going to learn the new stuff that needed to be done to stay in business, but then he got high and decided not to.
I was going to do SEO, but then I got high.
It's such a good song. Afro Man. Was it Afro Man?
Yeah.
It was awesome. All right. Anyway, so then he got high and he didn't. So this guy.
We do not endorse drug usage.
We obviously do not, but yeah, obviously not. Anyway, so this guy is in good faith, called this guy, and then he wasn't doing well enough. By the way, he bumped him up to the 4,400. And somewhere and I had another call just now, and I'll tie this together a little bit. And he's paying $300. Now, and this was his, I'm quoting him, to a girl in Canada, as a quote. The girl in Canada, he said, I'm just tired of talking to her. I've got to schedule around her kid and her problems raising her kids and stuff. And he said, but she's a real nice girl. And we used to do that as a joke. It's like, I can't leave my current SEO. And the top 5 reasons are...
We did a whole podcast.
She's a real nice girl. He's a real nice guy. She's my niece. It's my daughter. It's my son. So a lot of people end up staying with people because of sales, trickery, and personal relationships, and hardcore, never-ending sales jobs on these guys. And it makes it difficult for them to pull away from them. In this particular case, I told the guy, I said, don't feel bad that you're getting screwed around a little bit, because I hear this every single week.
Yeah. It's practically a rite of passage these days.
It is, and it is the method of which most people sell now. So there's a lot of issues within this. So the goal that we would have for somebody is to literally have 0 ad spend.
Right.
If they wanted to have 0 ad spend. So the message gets flipped around. People are confused because the chances of getting this scheme and this stuff from these charlatans and thieves and stuff, this is the standard. Right. And so the clients now think they have to get paid ads. Now, if someone chose to embellish their stuff, get a little bit more with Yelp or Home Advisor or Angelus or something, fine if they chose to, but they shouldn't have to, because if they're up in the big show on Google, which is what we refer to it as, because it's where over 80% of people still go.
Right.
And while they're over, I'm sorry, I was just thinking, yes!
Yes!
You are correct, sir. Anyway, so we're old and thinking
half the people watching this have no idea.
Johnny Carson's show, and Jason was saying that he's the sidekick, which makes us think of Ed McMahon. If anybody even knows who that is.
Yeah. Everybody we're talking about is dead.
So, anyway, so, they'll try to wrap these packages together and sell you all this stuff, but you really hopefully don't have to spend anything, because almost all the leads come off of organic.
Right.
Almost all of them. And now people that aren't up there think about it like an unattainable prize. And people like this guy trying to bump him up to an additional $12,000 in addition to the other stuff he's already spending. And
so he already bumped him up to $4,400 for crap links.
Correct.
Now he's trying to bump him up to $12,000
in spend.
Ad spend.
In ad spend.
Of which he will keep a minimum
maybe
of 30%.
Maybe he'll keep the 50. I've covered my mouth because it's so painful. It's like, oh God. But the pain, I didn't ever ask him that. What's the method of charging of the $12,000? So if it's black box billing and he takes the whole $12,000, industry standard is for the digital marketing agency, the jackass in the corner of the house or whatever.
Yeah.
He's going to try to get 50% of it.
Yeah. They'll sometimes start with 20 to 30 until they dial it in to the number of clicks you need to be happy, and then they are shooting for 50%.
Or he's in the Philippines, or he's in somewhere and he needs more money that week or month.
Yeah.
And then it's this is not even close to, like, this is I hear this all the time.
Yeah, this isn't weird conspiracy stuff. This is, we know people in the industry and they tell us.
Well, there's a major company on paid ads that was one of the flagship major ones that everyone's heard of, that standardly does take 50% in the agreement, but they cloud it over. No one knows what it is. They black box bill, take 50 no matter what. They're still very much around. They're a Google Premier partner.
Yep.
All the kids,
Google likes them.
All the kids at home and stuff, doing this stuff, they try to take 50% or sometimes all of it. And I know this because hundreds of times I've had thousands of calls I've had by now. People saying, well, it'll go poorly, and then I'll call and complain, and then I'll get more leads. So, well, do you have a paid ad budget with them? Well, yeah. And I was like, well, they're just spending more of your money when you call and get angry.
They're pulling it back when you're not calling, and as soon as you're calling angry, they spend more on the clicks.
Yeah. If it's a really rinky-dink, like you're talking, and then that's what will happen. Now, if we do paid, which I'm not even suggesting here. I'm going to lay out what should be done here. Right. But if we do paid, it's transparent billing. The credit or debit card goes directly to Google, and our paid advertising fee comes out separate.
Right.
And so it's possible the guy might only try to charge him, 20%, but it's laughable because he shouldn't be charging anything.
If he's already charging $4,400, he's already charging $4,400
My
for something
brain is like frying
bad.
out. That's $2,400.
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah.
So he'd go from $4,400 to $2,400, and he'd be paying $6,800.
$6,800. Yeah.
It's now.
And getting virtually.
What he posed to this guy is that he gave him the amount of leads that he would get from the ad spend. And so then the guy says, well, if you'll do this, then you'll get this. Now, what I'm here to tell you, and the reason we don't push it upon somebody, there's a bunch of reasons I don't push stuff upon someone. I find it infuriating and unethical to push stuff that I know doesn't return as well.
Right.
I don't have a problem with any form of marketing if it returns for a client, but I know the returns of the marketing.
Right.
So
people do call us wanting us to help with PPC, like current clients.
Right.
And we do it, and we do it successfully, but we kind of do it halfway reluctantly. It's like, we can do that. Let me have my specialist call you, and they will go over what your budget needs to be and what you can expect. And we lay everything out, and we don't, we don't promise the moon, and it's definitely not our first. It's not our first line of attack. It's like our last thing.
The reason we don't push it and we're direct is because over the years, 12 to 13 years in business, we would have the anger of the lack of response or the return on the investment for the paid transferred to our good work of organic. And we know that it's probably going to be 500% more for the cost of a paid lead than an organic lead.
Right.
And so if the client isn't made aware of that up front, they'll transfer it to us, and it'll diminish our tenure or our time with that client. And the organic optimization, everybody likes it.
Yeah.
Everyone likes it, because with a plumber that shows up in pack 3 and on dozens or hundreds of words on mapping, and then 1 through 5 over and over and over again, or on organic under the map, or if the map doesn't show up on the keywords, that can show up hundreds to thousands of times and produce daily call volume. And remind you, it's over 80% people going to Google to look for home services, and over 70% of those people clicking on non-paid items, which is your map rankings, your reputation reviews, or your organic keyword rankings.
Right.
That is a happy time. And if somebody,
that's the big show.
Let me just be really clear here. If somebody if this gentleman participated in the big show in the market that was able to accept a $12,000 a month ad spend in the market, the leads that came off of being one of the top, just say 5 plumbers in the market, would be hundreds of percent more than the leads that would be generated off the $12,000 ad spend.
Yeah. More leads, better quality lead, and far less per lead. He would be paying a fraction per month.
We're about a third of what he currently is for what we were going to do on organic. Nolen Walker here for Data Pins. You may not know, but I own a software company, and we have a proprietary software called Data Pins, DATAPINS. You can search it at datapins.com. This is not white labeled. I actually own this piece of software, and I made it for you. It was made for contractors. You can actually take pictures of jobs, up to 6, make a caption about the material, the brand, the situation, the repairs, and post that back to your individual pages on your website, just like that. It's super simple. Anyone could use it. It also texts and emails your clients direct links to your reviews, so it helps reputation and reviews, which helps conversion and map placement. The geo coordinate gets grabbed by Data Pins, and Google can tell where you are. So instead of them just seeing reviews, they see all jobs or even estimates that you do. This vastly outperforms just getting reviews. Helps the map show up, helps organic keywords, and remember, those captions that you're putting in there help expand the keywords per page, and it's great regular content. I love it. We made it just for you. It is organic optimization on steroids for both your website, your rankings, and the map placement. Check out data pens. I think you'll be happy you did. So I want to talk about that and repeat it again because it's really difficult for the brain to understand it. He's going to spend on organic if he could get up there. Now, I'm going to
Proper organic.
Proper organic. So this
Bullshit paid
let's
leads.
stop and go
Or
talk
paid,
about
links.
what he's doing here, and then talk about what that statement was just now.
Okay.
Because that paid math, it's hundreds of percent more for hundreds of percent less,
Yeah.
which is a thousands of percent difference. So it's literally night and day on the turn on this. So the current guy has about a 150-page website. He's trying to justify his worth to the client by doing old school bullshit marketing such as blogs.
Yeah.
There's over 100 blogs, or around 100, and probably about 90 of them are trashing up Google servers, which can be a penalty.
Right.
Which is probably part of the reasons he's not optimizing. He also, in the meta titles of each page, uses the state's abbreviation without a city. The state's abbreviation without a city.
Oh my God.
I didn't tell you. I didn't go over all this.
We didn't even get all this. That's criminal.
Also, the interior pages are a bit shallow, the ones that are there. And he doesn't have pages for all of his services, like a tankless water heater, for example,
Right.
or a slab leak. So if Google doesn't have a
He
page,
has 150 pages and he doesn't even have all the services.
he's missing a lot of the service pages. He's also in a town that's a side shoot of a larger town that has 6,000 people in it. He should be going for the side shoot town, but the piss poor effort for the town goes for the smaller town. On top of this, because he's in one of these states that has a lot of tiny towns and little township stuff everywhere, he needs city pages to expand the marketplace.
Absolutely.
He has zero
What is it? What are his 150 pages?
shit pages to justify the bullshit marketers' work.
Just BS blogs mostly.
Mostly, a couple of the blogs actually get some traffic. So we already had looked into the website. So if the blogs have traffic, we will keep those.
Right.
So I'm going to say about 5 blogs get kept. The reason you
5 out of 100.
I'm actually guessing because we hadn't gone this far on it.
Oh, okay.
The chances of more than 5 blogs out of
That's actually a good guess.
It's a good guess. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating any of this. The reason the other 95 blogs get deleted is because they're probably a Google Good Content violation,
Right.
which is causing problems. I want to repeat some of this stuff to people so they understand this whole thing. This guy is in a potentially populous market, but in a side shoot. For someone to spend $4,400 a month on a small market for outdated SEO tactics of backlinking in a market when they didn't put the city pages in the first place on the pages inside the service pages or include city pages is horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific. The client would never be able to make the return off of this and this. The $12,000 might be able to be spent because it's going to spread out to the other markets. Unfortunately, if he tells Google to spend $12,000 and the market doesn't bear it, they will spend the $12,000 most
Outside
likely.
his market.
Yeah.
Or go to barely related keywords. They're going to find a way to spend the money.
That's what I would probably think would happen.
Yeah.
Barely related keywords.
It's, by the way, folks, it's in their agreements when you sign up for Google Ads that you can say, I want these keywords in this region and this time of day or whatever. They are allowed to, according to their agreement, they are allowed to violate those boundaries in order to get you impressions, meaning spend your money.
He can get ranking in this market, but he will never get ranking from a website that is full of crap pages without enough content about his services, with no city pages in a densely or in a market area that actually has population, but a lot of towns, and he needs like 20 city pages.
Right.
He needs them in there. Since he's going at something a little counterintuitive too. Sometimes when I talk to people in a smaller market, I just talked to a guy I think it was in this, not this guy, it's a different guy in like Little Falls or something, Minnesota. And it's actually around there. He's got population, but he does a wide assortment of things. And I'm like, you actually need more content. You actually need more than most people. We do larger websites anyway. We would always do like a 30-page website. But this guy might get more like a 40 or 50-page website.
Right.
The reason is that he needs to capture more population and more services so that he gets a bigger piece of a smaller pie.
Right.
And if he doesn't get that and has someone that understands it, he just won't get the return he wants. So we bring all sorts of things to the table of just to, I guess, to flex our muscle on stuff like this. This site gets completely redone for anybody listening. So we don't keep any of it except maybe any pages or unique stuff that, so if the guy has logos or personalized photos or videos that personalize the presence, we keep that. But it stays on the same URL, but we don't keep any of the other stuff because it's poorly written, poorly done, poorly coded.
Yeah. Google actually wants to see that replaced.
They do.
When we do that and launch a new site, they will see that and immediately start to uprank him.
Right.
Because like, oh, he's gotten serious.
He got rid of...
He's showing us what we need to see.
So nice that he had a 150-page shit effort.
Yeah.
With only 7 good pages. They kept the 5 good blogs and wrote the homepage properly and redid the About Us page a little bit. Those are the only 7 good pages on the whole site. Those are the pages we'll keep and SEO overhaul. Then we'll add about 20 or 30 service pages. On this plumber, if he does more, we'll add more. We'll get onto some nuances of things because he needs to get as much as he possibly can.
Right.
On the lesser market area. And then he'll get about 20, 25 city pages as well. So he'll move from a site that was 150 pages of all shit content almost to a site that has about 25, 45, about 50 page site of phenomenal content that's dialed in, that has the ability to optimize for his market area and his services. That is coded properly for the largest town next to him, and a ton of city pages around him in the counties around that he'll service.
Right.
And that's the right site. Then Google will see it, remove any penalties, and give credit where credit is due, and be able to recognize what the areas are, what his services are, and what the site's about.
Right.
And this may sound basic to somebody listening because it's said.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
But everybody still gets it wrong.
It all is wrong. It's wrong all the time. Now, the little difference on this site, if this guy was in Dallas, Texas, we're in Fort Worth, so I'll use Dallas as an example. He doesn't have city pages. He's in Dallas already. He's already trying, and so then we're getting him onto the big show of Google, and he's already in the big show in the town.
Right.
Doesn't need city pages. He's got all the business he can service right there.
Yeah, in Dallas, you could more than sustain.
So that client's site might be about 35 pages, believe it or not, 40 pages. This guy's site's going to be about 50, 55 pages. And that's why they're a little bit different, a little bit bigger. And that's why the guy in the smaller market area gets a larger website. If he gets this site done properly, he'll experience an increase potentially within the first 30 days or so. If there's any sort of penalty for trash content, it might take about 60. If he'll use data pins and expand stuff through content and work validation, he'll move up faster.
Yeah. If he's had a bunch of trash content, if he's actually got a penalty on there, they'll look at him with suspicion for a little longer.
A little time in the sandbox, as they say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
and then they'll say, okay, he got rid of that and he hasn't put that back up, and all his new stuff is much higher quality. Okay, you can have some better spots.
So I want to go back to the money on this deal. So somebody wants him to spend $12,000 on top of $4,400. So he's at $16,400. I want to talk about, before I go in there, I want to talk about the 15 domain authority. Guys, he doesn't need any more links at all.
No.
You might need a few links, but he doesn't need any more. He doesn't need to buy links ever again, to speak of.
15 is actually good for a local business website.
It's very good. And he doesn't need to continue to go down a road that basically equals spam against Google's algorithm.
But this is the kind of time where the domain authority metric can be misleading.
Right.
Because it's going off that link juice, and those links aren't really that good. And
Right.
Google's obviously not showing him.
So bad SEO,
Yeah.
bad people that aren't good at it, people that are new at it, like a business owner. Plumber thinks he knows what needs to be done. I've heard Google wants blogging, give me more blogs.
They like backlinks, so I'm going to pay for
My
that.
backlinks isn't high enough. I have a 9 domain authority. Give me more backlinks. So that someone that doesn't know what they're doing starts demanding things be done.
Yeah. This isn't the 2000s. Backlinks won't save a bad website.
Blogging and all this stuff. So this guy is doing things that he thinks needs to be done, that he can show proof of validation to the client. But the website, no matter how many backlinks it's got, just so y'all know, can't optimize because it's written so poorly.
Right.
And he's missing service pages and city pages that he should have in the first place. So,
If he doesn't have a page for tankless water heaters, a million backlinks will not help him show for tankless water heaters because Google doesn't have that term to look out to know that he wants to show for it.
and if you go up 5 more points on domain authority, just understand that one thing doesn't make a site show up or not show up.
Right.
Google's grading a lot of stuff, and there's so many problems here and so much spammy crap that they're unlikely to show it. This guy could do enough wrong to have a 50 domain authority, which is unheard of for a local plumber,
Yeah.
and not be shown because it's a poor user experience. If somebody happens upon this website for a service that he does show, the majority of the pages are shit blogs trying to trick the search engine into showing him in ranking, and Google's algorithm's smart enough to know this.
Right.
And again, it's just simply a poor user experience. So we're not entirely anti-blog, but we're mainly anti-blog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so rare to see blogs. I mean, you can occasionally get a blog post that gets traffic, but even when you dig down to an occasion where a blog post is getting traffic, a lot of the times it's irrelevant traffic. And we've talked about that before as well.
So this guy could save, if he gets up in ranking at all, he could save $14,000 over the proposed spend roughly, and get, let's just be reasonable about it, 300% more than the proposed spend would bring.
Did he happen to tell you how many leads a month this was generating for him?
I didn't get into all that.
Okay.
I didn't get into all that. I mean, he was nice enough.
Probably
to
very
He was
few,
nice enough to
so-
share all of this.
Yeah.
And I told him I was going to do a podcast about the conversation and not mention his name or anything. But it's nice to have somebody share so that I can go into it. I will tell you that the person he was speaking with got a copy of financials to validate how much money he should spend. And I will tell you my philosophy on it now. A lot of people do this nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
They'll
find it offensive, but
it's highly offensive.
Yeah.
If I need more money to do somebody's digital marketing effort for their organic, when we build the website, we write the content, we code it, and we do citations and speed and SSL certificates, have a team here to execute things and updates and changes, and then build software with a different company. And somebody pays us a monthly fee.
Right.
We do all we can for that client, and if they make $100,000 a year off the effort, great. If they make $4 million a year off the effort, we don't go to that client and then say, how much money did you make, and how much more can you pay me?
You owe us this much.
You owe us this much money. Now, that part of it's highly offensive. If that actually happened, I don't even know if I'd be here podcasting with you because we'd make a shit ton of money. Nolan Walker here with Plumbing Webmasters. I'd like for you to consider becoming a client. You know, we have a lot of great people that work here at the company. We help hundreds of clients. We've done this for 12 years now. We help clients dominate online. We're a digital marketing agency. I honestly don't think there's anyone better than us at this point in time. We'll help you with your design, your code, your content. We'll help you rank on Google Maps. We'll help you reputation reviews organically. We even have proprietary software that I own in a different company called DataPins, DATAPINS. DataPins allows you to post pictures of jobs with captions and geo coordinates right onto the website. It'll take 90 seconds. A 12-year-old could use it, but you'll be able to post daily and get daily activity. Great content. It even posts it back to your Google account. It even texts and emails the client. So one simple thing where you pick a couple of photos you took, wrote a caption, put in the client's cell phone number and hit pin, and boom, And then that is in addition to all the other things that we do for you for SEO. We can also help with paid ads and other things too. But man, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call. You can check us out at plumbingwebmasters.com. Yeah, we don't care how much money somebody makes, man. We want them to make a bunch of money.
We care. We want them to make a lot.
We don't care from that
but
point.
We don't
we want to make as much as possible.
Fee off that.
Right. We don't base, that's what I meant. We don't base our fee off of it. If they make a lot of money, we don't call them and ask for more money.
Yeah.
And
maybe we should.
And the two things are kind of somewhat, what the client doesn't understand in this case is that the amount of money that he's asking for should get him the world, get him everything he could ever ask for.
Yeah, $16,000 a month?
Well, no, the 4,400 is already good.
Yeah, just the 44.
The 44.
Do it.
So at very least, based upon the numbers here, the organic web effort would bring in $50,000 worth of work on their numbers.
Right.
Minimum. That's what the differences are in the big show and showing up organically and someone trying to tie you down to paid on it. And by the way, I told this guy too, and it's like on paid, on Google ads, if somebody paid money with us, it's month to month. But this was new within the last year and a half or two. People would say, people being shitty web companies, not us included, pieces of crap, talking to people it used to say, hey, you got to wait 6 to 8 months or a year for your SEO to kick in. And by the way, everyone repeats this to me.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. I'll have clients say, I know it's going to take a year. And I'm like, no, it won't.
Throws it onto me as factual information and expects me to absorb and accept it without retaliation.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't put that upon me. I said, that's what you've been hearing from other people. So this guy will see great results within 3 to 4 months. I'll say about 4 months now. I want them to get pins and have time to look over their shoulder, even though they're month to month with us. But what's new is that they'll say, well, you got to keep going with paid. You might have to keep going with the Yelp account or the Home Advisor account. And I'm not proposing or condoning. I mean, I'm just saying the reason you have to keep going with those because it's their own platform that you have to get reviews and your reputation built up to see proper conversion.
Right.
But if you're paying for clicks on Google, it doesn't get better a month later. Yeah. So if this guy went in and
Google does take, the ads algorithm does take a training period when
2
the
weeks,
ad is first launched. 2 weeks maximum. That's what I was getting to. And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So they'll adjust the ads and the amount the ads cost based upon the effectiveness and the conversion of the ad.
Right.
So your quality score. But if this guy, and if he wanted to test this, he wouldn't have to spend $12,000. This guy's going to try to tie him down to like a year.
Yeah.
On this, it's like 96,000 or something. Is my brain? No, it's way more than that.
I was about to say it's
144,000.
If it's
12,000.
12,000, yeah, it would be.
It's 144,000.
Yeah.
So he's going to try to lock him down for 6 months at least. What he could do is try 4,000 for 30 days.
Right.
And it's not going to get any better. And it probably won't get any better with any other service provider for the PPC, any other digital marketing agency. Right. It might negligibly get better. Now, the only point in time that I'll caveat and say, if they were a super big piece of shit and tried to black box bill the $4,000, then you don't know if it worked or not because you don't even know if they spent the money.
Right.
Well, they sent me a report, and I'm like, well, what report?
Yeah.
You don't really know unless Google debited your card or credited.
We had instances of clients come on board that they sent us a report from a former provider. And so, well, they said the clicks cost this much. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, clicks in your mind. We go look at Google. Google tells you approximate cost per click is this. And it turns out, well, the clicks in your market are half that.
Right.
And they literally mark up the click.
And show a report.
And show the report based on that.
Right. Yeah, it actually, there's actual programs they buy that do this for them.
Yeah.
All right, so if the guy was going to try it, he'd do like $4,000, 30 days. You're done. If it didn't return, it doesn't get better the second month.
Right.
Organic, yes, you're always having to send signals out to Google for SEO. You can't just stop the horse dead in the tracks and hope it continues. But on the paid, 30 days, if it didn't work, you don't have to do it anymore. And you don't need to be tied down to agreement. If we did this, it's like it'd be month to month, one-time trial.
Right.
And then if you don't like it, you move on. If it returned, it returned.
Let's see what happens.
If it didn't return, it didn't return.
Yeah.
The organic always returns because it's the lion's share of it, and it costs way less. You're not paying for each click, assuming somebody's not asking for your financials and charging you as much as they can get from you, or a percentage of it. Right.
Right.
And if that relationship isn't extremely transparent, then the likelihood of getting messed around just under the premise of somebody asking for that is majority.
Yeah. Anybody asking for your financials, that's a huge red flag. They don't need to know that.
Well, and this guy,
they don't need to know that to know how much it costs them to run the account.
In his defense, he hasn't done it yet.
Oh, well, good.
And he called us, and he hasn't done the extra spend yet.
Okay.
And the asking of this and all this stuff, which I think actually went through part of it, but it didn't continue.
All of this is kind of what raised his suspicions.
Right. There's like literally, but people hear that and think it sounds crazy, but there's literally like at very least tens of thousands of businesses operating like this with their digital marketing agency.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, doing this sort of stuff. So, yeah. And then, so that would be how you'd handle your spend. And then if you did some of these other paid sources, if it's Facebook, Instagram, same way, 30 days, you're not going to brand everybody on Facebook.
Right.
If you're on Yelp, HomeAdvisor, Angie's List, something, you might have to get reviews to get the conversion, and it might take a year. But you might have to go longer with those sources. All of the sources that are paid, though, are hundreds of % less effective than organic. Your map placement, your reputation reviews, or your organic keywords on Google. Those are by far the cheapest, best place to be. And in this case, all this stuff gets redone, corrected pretty quickly. Client's happy within 4 months. He actually has a lot of reviews and has a presence there, and it can all be fixed. And then hopefully he doesn't, hopefully he's not in some sort of weird agreement.
That's the good thing about how the search algorithm works is if your Google business profile is done properly and not screwed up.
Right.
If all of the screw ups are on your website,
right,
that can be fixed
right,
with a new website.
So I'll define it a little better for anybody listening, is that when a web effort is up and has time and tenure, it gains credibility and trust through Google, even if it's a super crappy website.
Right.
So people will apologize and say, I know my website's bad. And I'm like, no, this is really pretty great.
This is not the worst I've seen. I've said that a lot.
40 Google reviews. The GBP or Google Business Profile, your map's been up for 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years. And the website.com has been live with a website attached to the Google button on the website button on the Google account for 5 years or 2 years or whatever. Any amount of years that occurs is better than nothing.
Right.
And most of the time it's apathy or just people don't spend any money on it. Sometimes a guy like this spends really good money and should have had great services, but unfortunately ended up with a sales guy that has no idea what they're doing and is stealing his money.
Yeah.
And calls him.
He has a piece of software here or a website that lets him buy links. And over here, he has a piece of software that lets him manage PPC. And that's all he does.
And he shoots reports out and he calls and does sales spends on this guy.
Yeah.
And shoots that out and he freelances out blogging and other crud.
Right.
And then throws it all together. And then when the client complains, he blamed it on the client by saying you're not spending enough money.
Oh, you're not spending enough money.
You're not.
You make this much money. You're in this market. You've got to have a huge ad spend to compete with
the-
so-and-so. Yeah, look at your competitor over here. He has a huge ad spend. That's because the competitor is also getting fleeced by someone like very similar to
This is
guy.
worse. It's not than like victim shaming. It's the abuser. What would you call this? Because the abusive party is blaming it on them.
Yeah.
So they're
That's just part of the abuse. That's what it is.
He's with a cheat. This fraud. It's horrible.
You know what that is? It's gaslighting.
Is it gaslighting?
That's almost classic gaslighting.
So
you don't show up because you don't pay enough. You're already paying me.
You're paying me
$50,000 a year, and I work maybe an hour a week.
Yeah. It's your fault that this abuse is occurring.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
You provoked me.
It wasn't that. That's not quite right, but it is the abuser that he's trying to get help. He's being abused and doesn't know it, and then the abuser, when he calls him during the sales routine, blames it on him.
Yeah.
But that you're too cheap and not spending enough, as evidenced by how much money is coming in. We need to spend this amount more, and then the abuse gets worse, and then more occurs.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But like this is, this is like the most likely thing to happen to a plumber paying for a digital marketing agency.
Yeah.
The most likely outcome
We see it
is some version of this. Yeah. All right. I am spent for the day, but we would love to hear from you. This is what we do for a living. We can go through anything if it's a little complicated or whatever it is. If you're in a situation like this guy's concerned, a lot of people are concerned. I told him, he said, well, I've got to make sure. I said, we don't need the website. The website's trash. We need the .com, the URL.
Give us access to the domain and access to the Google Business Profile.
That's all we need.
We're good to go.
And a month-to-month agreement, and we'll start.
And we will prove it to you.
And we'll be 100% satisfaction guaranteed on the launch. Meaning, if you don't like what we produce, you don't have to go forward. And then it's month-to-month, hoping to keep you forever. But you're not bound or put in a situation that lets us profit without results.
Right.
So if someone wouldn't stay with us long-term, then we don't make any money because we don't take anything down, really.
Right.
We get a $99 card and then charge more for a monthly fee that's very fair. And then they stay if they get results.
That's way less than $4,400 a month.
That's way less than $4,400 a month. And so that's, but I told him, I said, change your registrar password and change your Google Business Profile. And we don't need the crappy website, but don't have it go dead.
Leave it up until ours is done, just so you don't have dead air.
Right. And so that's all that's needed. But because he's in an abusive relationship, that he's not aware of how abusive it is because he's in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It at least was enough that he did a cry out for help and called. And said, hello. Ruth. I was like,
the call is coming from inside the house.
Plumbing Webmasters 911. Yeah, I'm here. We're here. Are you being abused?
I think so.
Are you being held captive? Have they tricked you with weekly phone calls? Making you think, are you being victimized by being told that you're not spending enough money? That's what's happening right now. How do I get away? I was like, well, Jesus, But then when I got off the phone with them, they're still scared to leave the relationship.
Yeah.
Right then.
Well, I mean, I kind of understand when they've been told, oh, you got to spend $4,000, you got to spend $12,000, and someone comes along and said, oh no, you can be successful at a fraction of that.
Right.
It's hard to believe.
They're concerned too because we're such a good deal.
Yeah.
That something's wrong.
Yeah. Maybe these guys don't know what they're doing.
It's like, no, I'm not trying to live, in Bali off of your dime. And we have 250 clients that help pay the bills, and we give a really good deal so we can keep people year after year. We're not trying to gig people. Most of these guys, people don't know any of this, but most of these guys hold about 10 clients.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, maybe 15, somewhere in there. Maybe 4.
Well, if it's one guy working out of his basement and he's getting $16,000 per client, he can do that.
He can do that. And then they're a digital nomad.
Yeah.
And then they're robbing people and taking money, and then they clip all the, they get as much as they can, and then they run this gamut on people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work, but they don't understand what had just happened to them. But they've got these guys that do it, and they say all the right things, but they don't have any resources, tools, or knowledge, or know how to do it. And this literally just somebody like piecing together crud, and that's where all this stuff comes from.
Yeah, they have a business and sales plan. They don't have any actual skills.
Yeah, very few of these people that do this will actually take the income that they get from people and invest it back into their business to get an operation going that can actually provide proper services.
Right.
Few of them actually do every once in a while. So some of the people that actually provide a good service used to be some of the biggest cheats I've ever seen in my life. But they actually parlayed it into a legitimate business enterprise because they knew if they didn't, they wouldn't stay in business.
Right.
But it's probably not your guy if you're having this
pretty
problem.
rare.
Pretty rare. All right. We'd love to be of service. If you call us, we'll help you. We can help with all kinds of stuff. Yeah, in this case, he just changed the GBP access, changed the registrar access.
Right.
And then he's got his properties, and then he gets the website built, and then that flips over when they change the DNS, when we change the DNS server, and then he's away from that person. But they're so wrapped up with them, and they don't understand the digital aspect of it that they're scared that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've never really said it like that, but it's funny. It does feel like they're being held captive a little bit, and I think they feel that way a little bit.
Yeah.
Is why they can't get away from it. So, but yeah. Anyway, it was an interesting one, man. Y'all call us, like, and subscribe. We will help you personally. I think it's invaluable. It's crazy how skilled we are at this point in time.
It's actually insane how
Yes!
amazing we are.
It is.
Yes!
It's good stuff.
Take it easy.
Bye.